This is my Bell & Howell TQ1 film sound projector. This one, as you can see, is the model which features still frame animation. We'll disable this feature when we replace the worm gear. These were beautifully made, solid machines, well worth the effort and returning them to full working order. We'll look at how to replace the broken worm gear in this model and similar models. This model's had the side cover removed, so I'll turn it around and we'll have a look inside. This is the worm gear. This is the culprit. I've got a second one which I'll show you how to replace. This one's had it replaced. Few simple things to do. We have to remove the shutter and drive assembly, which is this item here. I'll just show some details about how we go about this. First thing we need to do is remove the gear assembly and the shutter assembly. You can see there's a screw there, large screw there, large screw there, and looking down, large screw in there right at the bottom, that one, a bit dark in there, and just by the audio flywheel there's another one sitting just down there. Hope you can see that. Remove those. It makes it easier if you also loosen the sound optical block, and there's a screw just in there, and there's another one which is even more difficult to see, just up there between the audio flywheel. So those, if you just loosen those, it's enough to pull the assembly out. Once you've done that, we need to remove the belts. There's some belt tensioners here which you just unscrew, and this will allow you to remove this belt. There's another tensioner for the main belt which was there, so if you just undo the two screws there, that will then slide that way, and the belt, as you can see, goes round the spools and this will drop off, which is quite easy. You'll just be left with this belt here, this second belt, hanging loose, but that isn't a problem, nothing to worry about. You've then got to remove the main drive belt. Goes to the bottom. Your model may differ because it's an animation model, but this is after I'd stripped out the gears. There's a solenoid there, some further gears there, but they've all gone. You can't, it seems, obtain the animation gear for stop frame, and I didn't really think it was necessary anyway. So I'll just turn the projector around from the other side. If you open the door to the lamp housing, you'll see the lamp housing on this model drops out. Just need to remove one screw there and unplug the projector lamp. This will then come out. Behind that you have a plate or cover with two screws. Just remove that and the plate will come away completely. It's then possible to get hold of the whole assembly, lock, stock and barrel, and withdraw it out of the projector. I've got a similar model which I'll show you once it's been removed for the next stage of the operation. This is the optical assembly, optical sound assembly, with the lamp in there. Should you need to replace the lamp, it's quite easy. Just push that lever back, turn the lamp and lift it out. So that's the optical lamp. Should you have future problems, turn it, put the lever. So this is what you should end up with the assembly taken out of the projector. Okay, this is the assembly we've just removed, and here you can see the culprit. I just get it so you can see it. Quite nasty cracking there. First thing we need to do is remove the drive drum. which the belt from the motor attaches to. Behind that you can see the 3-bladed shutter assembly. We'll come to that in a moment. And the first thing to remove are this plate, the little window here, metal window, and there are 3 screws, 1, 2, 3 for this one and 2 there. So I'll just remove those. Right, this is with the plate removed. The next step is an Allen key on the side drum. It's very difficult to see, but it's there, and it should then slip off the shaft. This is the 3-bladed shutter, which we just need to release the screw, which is here. So we'll do that now. This will enable you to remove it completely. As you'll observe, there's a protrusion there. It's most important you note as they come off how they go back. There's also a little plastic ring. Now that comes off. Now the most important thing is the alignment, and we'll now go through that. When you come to reverse engineer this, it's most important that you observe. If I gently turn my thumb on the worm gear, you can observe that the sprocket assembly is moving. Now the center sprocket, which is that one there, should align exactly with this protrusion being vertical. Also, when you come to take the sprocket drives out, there's a small ridge on each one. Now that should be out towards you. The spring, you probably get a new felt pad as well, is looped across a very small indentation either side. It pays to replace the felt pad. This one is well past its sell by date. So I'll just go some close up so you can see exactly how you need to reassemble it in this particular state. I also found that it's quite useful to mark the gears so you can align them. There's that one there and that one there, so you can see if you just put a mark there, because these will then turn loosely once you've removed the gear. I think it's quite important that you maintain the alignment, but just a mark so that's horizontal either side of the gear will help you enormously when you come to remove the gear. As you can see, when we turn the worm, the sprockets for the central position should be, the center sprocket should be center gate, okay, which is fairly easy to do. They should run nice and smoothly as you see, and that corresponds with center position there as well. Okay, we'll now remove, and there are 2 screws here. We'll just undo those. Undo the other one, it's a little bit stiff. And they should drop out. This is a little bit tricky, but they will come away. Now at this stage you'll probably be getting extremely worried. Also beware that the sprocket assembly is sitting between these, so you can remove it. So better to remove it yourself than have it flying across the room. Okay, so just be careful of that one. So we'll put that to one side and remove the sprocket drivers. As you can see, this is a very ticklish little job. There they come. Remove them completely. Keep them in the same orientation, and don't forget that the little ridges go that way when we pop it back. Okay, then we remove this assembly here, and this will then come out much more easily, and this as well. Now you can note, it's a bit difficult to see, but there is an indentation, I can find it, on the end of the shaft. It's there. Okay, that's just about there. There's an indentation there. That mates with the raised item there, so that fits into that and holds it firmly. Okay, so we'll go to the next stage. This spring inevitably comes apart, but they're very small holes. This one there, which are located there and there on the other side. So we'll show you how to do that when we reverse engineer the procedure we're now doing. You need a pair of circlip pliers to remove the circlip in there. A pair of circlip pliers with 2 prongs on, or something similar. I can't get that out and run the camera at the same time, a bit difficult, but that's the next stage, to remove the circlip which holds the bearing assembly in. So we'll get that out and go to the next stage. Okay, circlip, as you can see, successfully removed. You do need a special tool for this though, and especially for getting it back. Now we're left with the roller bearing inside there, so we'll proceed to the next stage of extracting the shaft and the bearing. Observe the grub screw in there. We'll loosen that. Okay, we'll loosen that off, and the 2 grub screws on the worm wheel. One there, loosen him. You can see how all the nylon gearing is rapidly fallen off. Loosen the other one. Now that should then move, and the whole gear assembly, if this doesn't come out, just a gentle tap with a screwdriver on the ball race there. So let's see whether, there we come. It's now out and withdrawn. So this is it, and clearly obvious what the problem was. All deteriorated and completely dropped away. Okay, just replace the circlip holding the ball race in. Make sure it's secure. When it comes to reassembly, make sure the spring assembly here is pulling the arm in, or the cradle in, where the sprocket arms go. Should be pulling in. Okay, so you can see the spring there. It's easier if you put the rotating disc in and then drop it on. Put it over there. That then fits in like so. Found the screws, so we'll just tighten them up. Okay. Now then, we have to fit the gear, the phosphor bronze gear on, and the arms. I have to go through the hole there, fit back on, and we also have to find the locating in here, click back in, and this has to go in here, hook it over, and there we go, that's in at last. Good. as you can see, once we've got it working correctly, it lowers centre gate and then pulls out, if you can see it out there, centre gate and in again. Just turn it round once more. That centre there should locate with centre gate there. The little plastic collar with a hole goes over the phosphor bronze indent at the top. The shutter blade with the hole there corresponds, and the locking collar with the indentation goes over there. And another thing to note is the blade, centre blade, is exactly vertical with the centre pin of the film sprocket drive assembly that's out at the moment. If we turn it round 180 degree, it goes in, over and out again. Centre frame with the blade at the top. This is the view from the opposite side of the film gate, and you can see the sprocket drives raise, lower, raise, centre frame, centre gate and lower. And of course, final job is to replace the window. Don't forget the two spacers underneath if you haven't already lost them, that is. Bar over there, and two screws.